In 1919, the Treaty of Versailles was signed, ending World War I.
Instead of peace, its harsh terms sowed deep resentment, turning peace into a national humiliation for Germany.
Hyperinflation and economic crisis devastated German society, plunging millions into destitution.
This widespread despair created fertile ground for extremist ideologies and empty promises of revival.
Amidst societal chaos, the Nazi Party emerged, promising to restore Germany's glory.
They found hope in calls for extreme nationalism and vengeance, ready to follow a new leader.
With masterful rhetoric and extreme nationalism, Hitler quickly manipulated the masses.
He propagated ideas of revenge, expansionism, and racial supremacy, turning them into instruments for his ambitions.
Despite being forbidden by the Treaty of Versailles, Germany secretly and then openly rearmed extensively.
They built a formidable war machine with advanced weaponry and tactics, from tanks to modern fighter aircraft.
The specter of war became tangible, bolstered by an elite and well-equipped army.
In 1938, Germany annexed Austria, a blatant violation of the Treaty of Versailles, initiating a chain of expansionist actions.
European powers offered only weak condemnation, placing blind faith in appeasement, hoping to avoid another war.
Next came the Sudetenland crisis, where Hitler demanded control over the German-speaking region of Czechoslovakia.
At the Munich conference, Britain and France appeased Hitler, hoping to avoid war, but inadvertently fueled Germany's expansionist ambitions.
When Germany fully occupied Czechoslovakia in March 1939, appeasement clearly failed.
Britain and France were compelled to offer guarantees of protection to Poland, but the promise came too late to prevent tragedy. In August 1939, the world was stunned as the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact was signed between Germany and the Soviet Union.
A secret protocol divided Eastern Europe. This was the final move, paving the way for the attack on Poland, unleashing an unforeseen nightmare.
Using the fabricated Gleiwitz incident, Germany created a pretext to attack Poland.
At dawn, on September 1st, 1939, the Nazi war machine launched its lightning assault on Poland from the west.
This marked the beginning of Blitzkrieg, lightning war, combining the power of tanks and motorized infantry for rapid, overwhelming attacks.
The Luftwaffe launched relentless attacks, obliterating defensive lines, paving the way for ground forces.
This tactic allowed piercing and encircling the enemy, creating an unstoppable storm of steel and fire.
Polish defensive lines rapidly collapsed due to poor equipment and lack of coordination, despite their fierce and courageous resistance.
Against the overwhelming might of the German onslaught, Polish soldiers could only fight in vain.
On September 17th, the Soviet Red Army attacked from the east, as agreed with Germany.
Polish forces were encircled from both sides, leading to the complete collapse of the Polish state, becoming a dual victim of two great powers.
On October 6, 1939, Poland was completely partitioned.
Over 60,000 Polish soldiers and civilians perished. Hundreds of thousands were captured or deported, signaling the brutality of modern warfare.
On September 3, 1939, Britain and France finally declared war on Germany, marking the full outbreak of World War II.
However, no real military action occurred in Western Europe. A period known as the Phony War began.
For months, a phony war settled over Western Europe. Armies on both sides remained static. They awaited an attack whose timing was unknown, in an eerie quiet before the storm.
In April 1940, Germany suddenly attacked and occupied Denmark and Norway.
The objective was to secure vital resources and strategic naval bases, preempting the smaller northern European nations.
In May 1940, Germany launched a swift assault on the Netherlands, Belgium, and Luxembourg.
With devastating bombings and paratrooper landings, Germany easily breached defenses, paving the way for the attack on France.
Allied forces trusted the Maginot Line and believed the Ardennes forest was impassable, concentrating their troops in the north. Manstein's daring plan led German forces through the Ardennes, striking the Allied flank, delivering a surprising fatal blow.
Blitzkrieg tactics proved effective once again as German forces rapidly sliced through Allied lines,
causing widespread panic and disarray within the French army, unprepared for this speed of assault.
Allied forces were cornered at Dunkirk, facing complete annihilation. Hundreds of thousands of Allied soldiers were cornered on the beach, left with only prayer for a miraculous escape.
Hurry now, lads!
Yet
Into the
a
boats!
miraculous evacuation unfolded. Operation Dynamo, an extraordinary British effort.
Hundreds of civilian
safe
vessels
now.
bravely crossed the channel, rescuing approximately 338,000 Allied soldiers from encirclement.
Welcome aboard,
a miracle
son. You've
amidst
made
the
it.
brutal conflict.
Nevertheless, France swiftly collapsed. On June 14, 1940, German troops marched into Paris.
On June 22, 1940, France signed the armistice, ending any hope of resistance, marking the end of an era.
With the fall of France, Italy, under Benito Mussolini, joined the war on Germany's side in June 1940.
Italy's entry expanded the scale and power of the Axis, creating new fronts in the Mediterranean and North Africa. With France fallen, Hitler set his sights on Britain, the last bastion in Western Europe. Operation Sea Lion was drafted, but for an invasion to succeed, the Luftwaffe had to gain complete air superiority over Britain. From July to August 1940, the Luftwaffe began preliminary attacks targeting British shipping and ports.
They attempted to blind Britain's radar early warning system, a crucial factor enabling the RAF to respond effectively.
The Royal Air Force, though outnumbered, with its formidable Spitfire and Hurricane fighters, was ready to defend their homeland skies.
Britain's radar system, though attacked, maintained its early warning capability, a vital factor enabling the RAF to respond effectively.
In the second phase, from mid-August to early September, Germany concentrated its attacks on RAF airfields, depots, and logistical facilities. The RAF suffered heavy losses, with many brave pilots sacrificing their lives, but the force did not completely collapse. For months during the summer and autumn of 1940, the skies over Britain became the battleground for history's most intense aerial combat. Hundreds of pilots sacrificed their lives in the skies, but every small victory held vital significance. The aim was to break British morale by inflicting terror on civilians. But the shift to civilian attacks gave the RAF time to recover, further strengthening the resolve of the British people. Despite heavy losses, the diversion to civilian bombing allowed the RAF time to recover its strength. The Luftwaffe failed to control British airspace. Operation Sea Lion was cancelled. Meanwhile, in Asia, Japan relentlessly expanded, occupying vast territories in China and Indochina.
Run!
They prepared for a larger conflict and cast a dark shadow over the region, forming the Axis power in the east. In April 1941, following Italy's failure in Greece, Germany was forced to intervene in the Balkan front. Germany attacked Yugoslavia and Greece, swiftly conquering both within weeks, solidifying the Axis position in southeastern Europe.
On June 22, 1941, Germany launched Operation Barbarossa, deploying over 3 million troops in 3 main thrusts against the Soviet Union.
Cities and villages were leveled, civilians enduring unimaginable brutality from the Nazi onslaught. The Soviet Union suffered heavy casualties and losses, but with unwavering resolve, it did not fully collapse. Stalin's crucial decision, not one step back, ordering to fight to the last, galvanized the resistance. On December 7, 1941, Japan launched a surprise attack on the U.S. Pearl Harbor Naval Base, inflicting heavy damage on the Pacific Fleet. Hundreds of U.S. aircraft were destroyed or severely damaged on the ground, unable to take off.
We're under attack!
Over
Man your
2,400
stations!
Americans were killed in this surprise attack, a massive shock to the entire nation.
The attack was not just a military blow, but a profound shock to American morale, completely changing the course of the war.
A date which will live
The
in
attack on
infamy.
Pearl Harbor
The
forced
United
the
States
United
of America
States to
was suddenly
officially
and
enter the
deliberately
war.
attacked.
American industry was fully mobilized, becoming the arsenal of democracy, producing vast military hardware.
From this point, World War II truly became a global conflict, no longer confined to Europe.
In the 1939-1941 period, the Axis powers, Germany, Italy, Japan, gained a significant advantage controlling much of Europe and East Asia.
But the formation of a strong Allied coalition signaled a much longer and more brutal war to come, reshaping the 20th century.